In this context of close quarters warfare, I will sharpen the focus on the German combat engineers. The German combat engineers, collectively known as Pioniere or pioneers, were a skilled fusion of assault troops and field technicians organized in battalion-sized units within German infantry and panzer divisions. Injected more deliberately into the Battle of Stalingrad in November 1942, the Pioniere were seen as a fresh tip on the spear, one that could hopefully alter the balance in close quarters fighting in Stalingrad against a frustratingly dogged Soviet defense. The training and capabilities of the combat engineers was both practically broad and military useful. On the attack, the Pioniere were also specialists in destroying enemy fortifications and defense positions using flamethrowers, grenades, smoke and explosive charges, working in conjunction with German infantry units. The tactics of the German combat engineers cannot be studied entirely in isolation from the other units that they supported or those from which they received support. In offensive actions, the Germans at Stalingrad relied as much as possible upon airstrikes, given some measure of precision by using the Junkers Ju-87 Stuka dive bomber as a form of aerial artillery, and tanks and assault guns to provide a moving cover, and also the firepower to blast apart any strong points. Mortar batteries and heavy machine guns delivered constant suppressive fire. One of the World War I innovation brought back into play at Stalingrad was that of the Storm Detachment, small units of about 10 men heavily equipped with demolitions and small arms and tasked with taking a localized target. One of the best descriptions of how this worked, at least in the initial stages of Stalingrad offensive, comes from a German officer. He writes, "The attacking German troops move forward behind tanks and assault guns, sweep away barricades with gunfire, knock holes into house walls, and crush down wire obstacles. Guns and mortar batter concealed positions, anti-tank guns cover the side streets against possible flanking operations by tanks, anti-aircraft guns are ready to meet attacking aircraft. Low-flying aircraft and Stukas attack the rear sections of resistance in the inner town and the supply points and routes inside the town. Machine guns engage snipers on the roofs. Covered thus, infantry and engineer assault detachments keep close to walls, advance over the wreckage from street to street, break down block doors and cellar windows with explosive charges and grenades, smoke out the less accessible corners with flamethrowers, and comb house from ground floor to roof. In all this, they have frequently to engage the enemy in hand-to-hand fighting. The fluency achieved by the Germans, including by the combat engineers in these assault tactics, combined with the unpreparedness of the Red Army defenders, is testified to by the bloody progress they made in August to November 1942, which squeezed the Soviet troops into small pockets of defense on the western bank of the Volga River. Yet the report accurately goes on to state how the offensive momentum bled out of the German units, after which combat developed to intense rolling small unit actions. These assaults failed to make much progress, partly due to the great quantity of the artillery concentrated by the Russians, and partly due to the way in which the large number of reinforced concrete and stone buildings were adapted by the Russians for defense, even when they were in a ruined condition. The Germans were virtually forced to give up large-scale tank attacks as being too costly, and the fighting reverted to intense street fighting between relatively small infantry and engineer assault groups, liberally equipped with flamethrowers. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and support my channel on PayPal. Details in the description.